Hi, I'm Mario Tanaguzzi, and this is Taking Care of Business. Joining me today is Helen Vesce, who is Division Vice President of Service Delivery for ADP Canada. Thanks for joining us today, Helen.
Oh, it's great to be here with you, Mario. Thank you.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some survey results that ADP put out recently. The one interesting thing was showing that Canadian small businesses are bouncing back, and 79% are able to rehire employees. Can you talk a little bit about that, Helen, and why we're seeing that kind of rebound taking place for small businesses?
Absolutely, Mario. But first, let's start. As we all know, the small business owners, they really were hit hard during the pandemic, right? And they're such an integral part of our Canadian economy.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to do first was we wanted a survey and just find out hey, how are you doing? How are they weathering the storm? And the good news is they are weathering the storm. So the challenges that the business owners have had now, they've been resilient. So they've weathered the storm, but now while they've been able to hire those, about 80% of them were able to rehire, they're now having a hard time finding the talent. So their businesses have been stable, but now it's time to find the talent.
And that was the interesting part of this survey that I found that I'm just looking at the numbers here. 33% have trouble finding workers. 46% say there's the talent shortage has grown as a result of the pandemic or through the pandemic. Why is that the case? Why are we at this point where, and I see it everywhere. I see it everywhere I go. I was out for sushi last night and ramen, and on the door, we're hiring, right? And so it's almost every place I go these days. Why is that happening?
Well, let's bring it back to the survey. So now the survey itself, right? Small business owners are not immune to the war on talent that every business out there has been experiencing. They're telling us that it's more critical now, or more difficult now, to not only find the talent, but to retain the talent. And I think the retention part of it is part of the story. So what they're learning is that, or through the survey, what we're learning is that employees are leaving their current employers for better salaries, for better or more senior roles, and they're looking for career changes that are going to offer them some more flexibility in their life.
Mm-hmm. What did the pandemic do you think, in terms of that talent pool? You hear a lot of stories about, a lot of people kind of went out of the workforce in many ways because they were getting government support. Has that been a factor?
Well, I'm sure that there were a lot of factors that caused people to kind of just rethink where they were in their personal lives when it comes to their employment. But these demands, again, going back to the survey, the demands that the small business owner had to adapt to, right? So now you are faced with an economic environment or a labor pool environment like you now have to adapt as a small business owner. And so here's what we learned that they're doing as a result of the situation that we're all in. So almost half of the small business owners, they decided that they had to offer higher wages. Yeah. So that was a big proponent, right? Or a big component of it. And then another quarter of them have decided that they needed to increase benefits. So things like, let's offer them some more time off, right? PTO time, or some additional perks that the organization could support. Mm-hmm. And then finally, small business owners are offering more flexible work schedules. So the employee of today, they're looking for that flexibility, Mario.
Yeah, very much so. What is it about working for a small business? What are the benefits for an employee or someone seeking a job out there? What's so great about working for a small business?
Yeah, honestly, and through this survey, we truly believe that the small business owner really has a leg up on many of the other types of organizations or larger companies out there. And there's a couple of different reasons. So first of all, small business owners can really support what an employee is looking for today. So that's the first thing. The values that today's worker is looking for. They can offer more welcoming, supportive, and a personal environment, right? With a smaller organization, you can feel much more connected to
Yeah.
the organization. And that's where employees are looking for. So they're looking for not only that work-life balance that we just talked about, right? The flexibility and everything. They're looking for that. They're looking for the flexibility in schedules. They want to be able to take care of a lot of personal things while also being there for their employer. But the last thing that we found really interesting through the survey was they want a closer relationship with their employer. So whether that be their leader or the senior leaders of the organization, and small businesses can do that for the workers of today.
Okay, super. One last thing, Helen, is there anything else from the survey that struck you as interesting that we haven't mentioned?
You know what? The first thing that I would say, and the most important thing, is that small businesses are bouncing back. We were so worried during the pandemic about the impact to small businesses, and they're the heart and soul of our economy.
Yeah,
But Mario, they're bouncing back.
which is good news all around.
Great news.
All right, super. Thanks, Helen, for joining us today.
Thank you, Mario. Great to be with you.
All right, that was Helen Vesce, who is the Division Vice President of Service Delivery for ADP Canada. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and this has been Taking Care of Business. Thanks for joining us today.